Welcome to the T Prep Talk. This is part two with Matt Henderson for a positivity talk. Thank you guys for tuning in so I can tell my story, my guests can tell their story, and I can help make your story. And I'll let Matt introduce himself.
What's going on, everybody? For those of you who didn't see part one, I'm Matt Henderson, one of the trainers here at T Prep, and I guess we're going to keep this positivity talk going.
Yeah, man, because I feel like we need a lot of that around here. This is our first podcast since we started the new year, and everybody has resolutions. Do you have any resolutions?
I don't know if they're solid enough to call them resolutions, but I had a couple ideas about what I wanted to do this year. Over the past, so I'll just kind of go down the list, I guess. Over the past couple years, as far as bench press is concerned, I was able to get up to 305 on bench press, and that was at my peak. This year, I want to crack 315.
3 plates? Okay.
Three plates on each side.
Yeah.
Also, I got to incorporate more cardio into my daily fitness regimen. Obviously, for obvious reasons, the benefits of cardiovascular health. And I think, just as a man, I need to be more solid on my decision making and when I'm dealing with people, as far as I want to be less uncertain than I have been over the years. I heard this guy, his name is Jesse Lee Peterson. He said something that really stuck with me. He said, as a man, let your yeses be yeses and your noes be noes. Don't be on the fence about stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's true. Because I think back on a lot of times when I talk to people, oftentimes I'm like, I don't know yet. I'll think about it. But I want to be more so, I want to kind of just know, like, hey, no, I'm not about that, so I'm not going to do that. Or, yeah, let's do it. Or I want to do this for sure. Let's set a date right now.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. So that's not necessarily some solid resolutions, but definitely things I want to
Some
work
more
on.
action.
Yeah, definitely.
More action, okay. Yeah, man. My New Year's resolution, not many people understood when I said it, but I feel like men understand when I say it. And I say my New Year's resolution is being a beast this year. Now, do you comprehend what I'm meaning by that?
I think generally, yeah, being a beast. I think that's more so of kind of knocking your goals out the park. Less excuses.
Yeah.
Kind of like manning up.
Yep, manning up, being having an iron mind, being physically in better shape, getting more knowledge. So basically, being a 10 times better version of myself in every aspect. But there's a problem with certain people, and that's keeping their resolution going. So making sure they're hitting their goals. Now, just like I explained to people about fitness, that fitness is a roller coaster. You're going to have some times where you miss a whole week, or sometimes you miss 2 weeks. You never want to go further than that, but there's some slumps that are in there. You have your times where you binge eat. You have your times where you just feel sluggish because you aren't getting the right nutrients in and you're not moving as much. And then other things happen in life, right? So thriving in pain is very essential for hitting any kind of goals, because it's not always going to be sunshines and rainbows, right? You're going to have times where you don't want to do things. And yesterday we were actually hitting a workout when I was messaging you about,
Right.
which was a crazy workout, which is for the DECA Fit, the competition that we're doing in June 8th. And it's a 10-zone race, and it's cardio, functionality, strength, all under time. So the lower time you have, the higher place you get in the competition. And I hit a workout in the morning, which was a strength-based workout. And then now when it came down to hitting our team workout yesterday night, I didn't want to do it. I was tired. I had an excuse. I said, I already hit my workout in the morning. Man, I'm just going to take this workout light. But having the team around me and actually going through it, midway through the workout, I was already like, yeah, I'm going to finish this strong. So your environment matters when you're hitting your New Year's resolutions. So thriving in pain, your environment, all those things all connect together, and of course your self-discipline to hit those goals. Now, it's easier said than done, but what do you think about that, man?
I think you're absolutely right. Environment does matter. And I think even more important than that, to have a network of people holding you accountable.
Yeah.
That is a huge deal. And to just know you're going to have people on your side to kind of encourage you, be there for you, kind of put the fire under your ass, like, hey, man, come on, let's go. And especially if you already committed to them and to the team, it's very important. You kind of got it in the back of your head that, hey, I got to show up for my team. And I think one thing a lot of people do is they'll set unrealistic goals or expectations for a new year.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want to lose 100 pounds in the first 30 days of 2024. Yeah. Is that possible? Absolutely, it's possible. You could you could do it in dangerous ways. You could do it. You could definitely do it. It may not be the healthiest thing to do, but your goals should be attainable, realistic, and measurable.
Yes. So
I think if more people took a step back and thought out their resolutions and their goals a little better, it would be a higher success rate, because there's it's very common to hear people say, oh, man, I didn't reach my resolution, or I didn't reach my goal. And it's kind of like in our culture, resolutions are typically not stuck to throughout the whole year. So again, I think if we're more intentional about our goals and realistic, more people would stick to it and more people would hit them.
It's very cliche at this point. Everybody,
Agreed.
what's your New Year's resolution, right? Get in fit. Get
I
in shape.
I think it's fun. I think it's cool to do. I think it's especially when you share it with people, because you got, hey man, how you doing? You said you're gonna be up to 50 push-ups a day, man. How you doing in February or whatever? And they're like, oh man, I kind of fell off a little bit, but hey, till March I'll be there. And they're like, they'll check on you, and it's in your mind like, man, okay, I gotta work on this. I think it's fun. I think
50 push-ups a day is very attainable.
Yeah, exactly. So it's measurable, attainable, realistic. You know what I mean? Even if you if you're starting off doing like 5 or 6 a day, do one more than you did the previous day. You know, but
building that habit, man. So building habits. I think if we take a step back and stop thinking about the major goal, which is lose 100 pounds, whatever, read 10 books, I don't know, whatever the goal is, and we take a step back and look at our habits.
Oh man, yeah.
What can we get rid of here? What vices can we get rid of that's actually holding us back from hitting those goals?
That's a good point, actually.
Look at your screen time.
Oh.
What do they update us on Sundays?
I don't know.
They give us the update on Sundays, like your weekly screen time to average.
Oh, okay.
So Sundays, look at that. See how many hours you putting in there.
Man.
And also look at the food you take daily. So taking notes, like what I eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you start to realize how many times you snacked, and how many times you drink a soft drink or a juice that has empty calories, doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah.
Why you're building fat, or honestly, how many shows you're watching, how many things you're consuming on the screen, which isn't really helping your cognitive ability. Right. So there's a lot of things you can look at as far as getting rid of than what you're striding for before you get like structuring out your plan to hit that goal.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think you're right. There's in the world we live in today, there's a ton of distractions.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, you got something trying to grab your attention. That's why there's, fields in marketing and advertisement, because the goal is to, hey, let me grab these people's attention, especially with the youth and the kids these days. I mean, and especially us, even at our age, our whole span of ages in this room, it's like our attention is constantly trying to be attained by all kinds of different agencies, different people and stuff like that. And they're doing a great job, because it goes all deep into, psychology of the mind, like what's going to get these people's attention. And when our attention is received, it's kind of hard to look in the phone, these apps, like you said, these TV shows, social media. I don't even want to look at my screen time over the past week, because I know it's going to be something nuts,
Yeah.
And if you take the time to be intentional about, okay, let me put my phone away while I do this. Like, especially me, I catch myself when I'm spending time with my kids, my phone's right here, and it's like I noticed I'm always picking it up, checking something, and then my little 5-year-old's like, Daddy, look at this thing I drew. And I'm like, okay, hold on a second. And I'm like replying to this notification or something. And then I'm like, let me just put my phone in the room. You know what I'm saying? I'm guilty of it, but there's so many things trying to grab our attention. And if we could just be more conscious of, okay, even if you got to set an alarm to, okay, I'm not going to be on my phone from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Let me put it away. Be intentional about what you're doing and, make it become a habit.
Yeah. And I think there's an essence there to predict the future.
What do you mean?
You can predict the future by your actions.
How so?
So if your future is, I want to lose that weight, you can predict that and make it become a reality by doing the necessary actions to get there.
100%. That sounds like, I believe in the law of attraction.
Yeah.
What a man thinketh, so he will be. So if you're, because you ever hear about those people that are always, oh man, this person's always in a bad mood. They always negative. They always complaining about something wrong going on in their lives. When you got a negative mindset and you're expecting bad things to happen, that's what it's gonna be. You're attracting those circumstances to you. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, positive. If you're being positive, kind of like me, most of the time I'm very, very positive. In a good mood, and to be honest with you, oftentimes a lot of good things happen to me. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't experience adversity or nothing bad ever happens to me. I'm just saying that generally my mindset is positive, and I notice that a lot of positive events occur in my life. Conversely, I know people, in particular my ex-wife's mom. I'm gonna go there. It is what it is. She is one of the most negative people I've ever met in my life. Yeah. In my life. Always complaining about this, always complaining about that. Never satisfied, never happy. Always looking at the glass half empty. And if you look at her life, she is a product of her thoughts, her attitude, and her mental state.
Most definitely.
And I look at people that are, opposite from her, like myself, and the results are evident.
Mm-hmm. Now, somebody who I would say is finished with their life, right? Like they don't have any more goals.
Oh, so they're dead.
Yeah, when you do that, you're pretty much dead. I heard this one guy, Patrick David. You know him, right?
Yeah, that guy's very smart.
So he did one video talking about whenever he's 60 or 70, he doesn't want to be that dad that's saying what he did when he was 40 or 30. Like, man, when I was 40, when I was 30, I had an interview with Kobe. I did this, I did that. He said he wants to be that granddad and that dad that's actually still out there making memories and conquering goals. So when it comes to taking advice from people, and as far as like negativity and things like that, they're a product of their actions and their thinking.
Right.
When you take advice from somebody, one rule I have is, what have they done? And what have they done? What are the good things they've done? Because there's always something good you can take from somebody. But as far as, getting all of their advice, look at their life. And if you want to end up like them, if you want to be in their shoes, then follow them to the T, and you will be in their shoes. So really having somebody that you look up to, not glorifying. I mean, I believe in God.
For sure.
Not glorifying somebody as a God, but really admiring their work and respecting it, and wanting to accomplish some things like that in your life. Find somebody that you can look up to, and get. Like, everybody should have some type of mentor, I believe. And your own creativity comes from other people's creativity, if that makes sense. Because you were inspired somewhere to start creating your own. Just like fitness. I didn't get into fitness until this one group called The Lost Breed came out. You remember them? Yeah, they shoot hype videos. They're going crazy. And I was in high school. I didn't really know much about fitness. I just knew about football and workouts, things like that. And when their videos came out, I thought it was cool, and it inspired me, and it pushed me all the way to where I'm at now.
Nice.
But because of that, inspired through somebody else's creativity, and now they're still moving, and I kind of look up to them in that nature, and other people too. Patrick David was one of the guys that got me into business too. I was following him when he was on the whiteboard explaining business things.
Wow.
Which he called it, I think, like 5 minutes with Pat or 10 minutes with Pat, something like that.
Okay.
But I was in high school, like sophomore year. I was searching up business videos because I tore my second ACL. And I was like, yeah, football's not the way for me. So I got to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with my life. And so then I started doing that. So without the ACL injuries, I wouldn't really be where I'm at today. So everything that happens into your life, when people get all negative about it, all these downfalls, it's for a reason. You know how many people I train that have knee problems now? And I only know how to work it because I've been through that twice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I wouldn't even impacted these people's lives ever if I didn't go through that. So that negative thinking in each problem that you have in your life, it can really stop you from your growth. But the problems I do like though are the real problems, like easy 1 + 1 = 2 type problems. You know, like the flat tire. Okay, go get a new tire.
Right.
But the worst problems that I think that affect me the most are the ones that you make up in your own head, and the ones that you can't control. Mm-hmm. Those are the problems that hurt the most. So when I hear somebody like, oh, I'm having car problems, or oh, I'm having problems here, 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 the ones that you can physically fix, you shouldn't let those get to you. So like the ACL, what can I do? What can I benefit from this?
I mean, I think as far as letting things get to you, I know we're all human beings. I know we have emotions and feelings and stuff like that. We're not robots, but I don't think you should, to the best of your ability, you should try to not let things get to you, ever. Yeah. Because I was actually explaining to somebody the other day that one of my friends actually, she got a DUI the other night.
Okay.
Got pulled over, got arrested, taken to jail. She was in jail for like a night or two or something like that. And she was saying how terrible the experience was and stuff like that. And she was like, oh, my life is ruined and all that stuff. I'm not going to go into detail with everything else that happened after that. But
her name, address, everything.
Yeah, so her name, Rebecca, you fucked up. No, that's not.
Is that her name?
No, that's not her name. But she hit me up. She was like, man, the other night really sucked. I'm kind of down about it. And I was like, hey, it already happened. Mm-hmm. What's happened has happened. And I said, number one, things could have been a lot worse. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you being upset right now, it's not going to help the situation at all.
Yes.
It's not going to solve anything. You know, you got kids that need their mom to be okay, you know, so you can take care of them. You can't pour into them if you're empty right now. So what's happened has happened, you know, and the only thing you can do right now is make good choices starting right now.
Yes.
You know, so keep in mind that you're not dead. It could be worse. You got a lot. Look around. You got a ton of blessings. Ain't nothing you can do about what happened a couple nights ago. So count your blessings, put a smile on your face, and just do what you can from here on out. Yeah. That's all, and that's all you can do. And she, you know, and she was like, "Hey, Matt, thank you so much. That really helped me out a lot. You're right. What ain't nothing I could do about it now except, you know, be in charge of some good choices from here on out." And I'm like, absolutely. And I think, you know, obviously easier said than done. And who wants to hear that when they're in the midst of something tragic or something that, you know, they're going through? You know, who wants to hear that? It's like, yeah, easy to say. But I'm the one that's going through it. But really, like, take a step back and look at the things that are still going good in your life.
Yeah.
Think about, you know, the things that, because you can think of somebody right now that probably lost a child, probably just got their car totaled or something like that, probably facing eviction from their apartment, probably unemployed, don't have a job. You know, you can think of a whole bunch of circumstances, you know, and look at your own life right now and look at what you do have. You know, as long as you're here on this side of the earth and you're breathing, you can always make the next move your best move.
Yeah, my grandma said this, or our grandma. Says as long as there's breath in your lungs, and there's still opportunity.
That's real talk.
So, I mean, at least you're not dead. When you're dead, that's game over.
Yeah. You know, somebody, you know, I heard this quote. It really stuck with me, and it's like, dang, that is right. Because, like, no matter how bad things are, like they said, if you're skydiving and your parachute doesn't work, you got the rest of your life to figure it out. You get it?
So I'm starting to think about that, like that analogy there.
Yeah, but
so I'm thinking of the parachute just going out, and you got about approximately like 10 minutes before you hit the ground.
Yeah, so I mean,
like, enjoy those.
Yeah, look around, look at the scenery, these clouds, sunny day probably. This is awesome. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's okay. So
there's two different type of people though. I would say there's the ones that give up and they're like, look at the sky, look at the birds, and then bam, hit the ground. And there's another one that's like, We learned this in school. Let me see what I can do.
Right?
Let me
Try to figure this out. Try to figure this out.
So, which one are you?
Or the third
Which one are you?
Like looking at the ground.
There's
Like, it's happening.
No,
You know?
Like, I'm the dude.
just doesn't even know what's going on.
I'm the dude that's going to try to land on my feet and turn it into like a squat and be okay. Because, I mean, you got to.
Creative.
You know what I'm
Creative.
saying? I mean, but you got to, like, I think that's a perfect example, like, because.
There's so many options.
It's such an extreme and fatal situation.
Yeah.
How can you possibly, and this is the important question, how can you possibly be positive in that moment? You're going at however many miles per hour towards the ground.
Yeah.
How are you going to, because it's natural for us to be like panicking, heart beating. You're probably going to faint or pass out before you even hit the ground because,
Yeah.
you know. But what if you're still conscious throughout the whole thing? It's like, how can you be like, hey, man, it is what it is. You know, I've had a good run, I had a good life. Hey,
Yeah.
if this how it ends, this how it ends. Or because you go, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
Like that ain't. What's that gonna do?
Yeah.
You gonna the last few seconds of your life, you freaking the hell out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's extreme, but
Yeah.
seriously, think about another problem. Like think about you just survived a car accident, you're getting out, your car's totaled, but you're
Yeah.
safe though. And you're like, and what are you complaining about? You're like, oh, I don't have a car anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, or if you didn't have insurance, like, I don't got it. I'm gonna have to pay for this. I'm gonna get sued. You're alive.
Yeah.
True facts.
You know,
True.
glass half full.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, in the book, the Art of War, the ones who fight while going down always come back up. So they always win in the end. They always revive themselves at the end. But when you give up as you're coming down, your percentages of coming back are slim to none.
Damn.
And something just slipped my mind right now that I want to talk about.
No, yeah, that's a good point though. That's a good point. Freaking fighting and because you want to. I mean, to me, I look at it as you got to think about your family. If your family name is important to you, like if you got kids, if you got come from a lineage, like your father, grandpa, and all that stuff, like you're kind of like a representation of your family.
Yes, your
So,
legacy.
Yeah, even if like UFC or boxing or something, if you're in the ring and you're out and you notice in round one that you're clearly outmatched,
Yeah.
and you're just about to take a beating, what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna tell your coaches, "Yo, we're not"? And I've seen it a lot of times before.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
I think Ryan Garcia did it in the tank
You think
tank
so?
fight.
You think he
Yeah, because he ended up so either because he took a knee once he got hit in his kidney.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was he was hurt and he went down.
Yeah.
Or if he was like, I'm outmatched. If I take another hit, so I'm gonna take a knee. I'm out of here. You know.
It's almost like he was never ever in that amount of trouble before.
Yeah, maybe.
He was never put in that bad dark place where he was like, damn, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
My side hurts. And he wasn't built for that.
Yeah.
And it exposed himself.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
was he a true warrior?
it's hard to say.
But he did step in the ring though.
He stepped in the ring.
Yeah, so there's always a respect level there.
And I think,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's not war. That's it's a sport. And if you care about your longevity in the sport, if you realize, hey, I'm outmatched here, if I continue with this, I could be damaged even worse, and this can have much greater impacts on the rest of my career.
Yeah.
Because had he continued that fight, who knows what kind of damage he would have taken after that.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a wise decision, or maybe some, depending on who you are, can look at it. I remember watching the UFC fight. Frank Mir got his he should have probably tapped, but he got his shoulder dislocated.
Yeah.
In the middle of I forgot who he was fighting, but he got his shoulder dislocated right there. I'm like, yeah, I probably would have tapped, but I mean, it's mindset, man. Where you at?
That's why I like that thing we're doing, the competition, because it's a whole different style of training. It's a whole different style. I'm not a runner. I've never been a runner.
Neither am I.
I hate it. But this has been bringing me out of my shell of running and kind of pushing me further. So putting yourself in positions to grow, that's important. A lot of people don't want to do that because they're comfortable. And I fall, I'm on that. I'm on both sides.
Yeah.
Sometimes I put myself through pain. Sometimes I want to be comfortable. Like I said, environment matters.
Yeah.
Your podcast is it called Man Up Podcast?
It's called the Man Up Podcast with Kyle and Matt.
So what makes you guys call it the Man Up Podcast?
So my co-host Kyle and I, we go back and forth oftentimes about politics.
Yeah.
Also, like the dynamic between men and women in relationships and dating. And we've noticed just kind of like a surge over the years of, the death of masculinity.
Yeah.
Like men aren't men anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be, men would, go to work, take care of business, handle things, be firm in their stances.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's not quite like that anymore. You got men chopping off their genitals, wanting to be women, thinking they're women. You got men taking on, beta male characteristics. And even in politics, you see just the destruction of just the man in general with this new age feminism and different stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we just created that podcast to just encourage men in a positive way.
I like the feminist movement because it makes me want to be even better. You know what I'm saying? Like my competitive nature. Like not competing against women, but it's like, oh, okay, like you like okay, so the cream always rises to the top, right? The market tells you who's good and who's not, right? So whenever you have this strong feminist movement, the ones, okay, I don't want to use this terminology.
Do it.
But beta males.
See, you're being beta right now.
Yeah. But, okay. All right.
I
cool.
don't want to say this. See, this is what a pod is about. Say what's on your mind.
So these beta males are gonna get mad about it. They're gonna get mad and argue about it instead of letting their actions show for it.
Okay.
Right. Standing firm on what they believe and not compromising for things like that. I mean, you always want to compromise on certain things because not everything you believe is correct. There's different perspectives out there. But as far as like your masculinity, your roles as a man, things of that nature, when you compromise those, yeah, that's when you turn into a beta. Because you're simping over, the female and you're just
Right.
kind of glad to have her type stuff, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is I like the feminist movement because it's like, okay, now I'm about to reach levels that seem unreachable.
Yeah. I agree with the cream of the crop rises to the top.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, this whole thing about equality, I think equality has been, I don't think a lot of people know what equality is. I don't think people really know, some people know what they're asking for when they're asking for equality.
Yeah.
We had a topic on the podcast because Kyle and we actually disagreed on a specific point. Because he said equal pay for equal work, which I agreed with. However, the scenario was, so you have a man and a woman on a construction site. And in order to judge if something is equal, you need some sort of measure of tangibility. So I think the scenario was you have 2 truckloads of concrete that need to be moved manually, and you have 4 hours to do it or something like that. And I said, okay, so if both people do the work in the required time, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to get paid the same.
Yeah.
And I believe his argument was, so though in this scenario, the woman needed assistance in order to make the time limit.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, so she shouldn't get the same pay, which I agreed with.
Okay.
But I'd have to actually go back to the pod because it was a pretty good back and forth. But at the end of the day, equal work for equal pay, absolutely. And I personally don't see any real differences or real pay gaps between men and women. I think men and women naturally choose different occupations.
There's some women that make more than men. There's some men that make more than women.
Right, but it depends on the job you're doing.
Yeah, it depends on the job for sure.
Now
that's in the workspace. That's the business space. So as far as the man and woman dynamic in a relationship.
Oh man, yeah.
I talk to some men that they like their woman to be ambitious and go-getters and take care of their own business. And there's some men that want the woman to be inferior to them, and they just kind of stay at home and they follow their orders, right? What do you think is well, here's what I think as far as choosing a partner. I think you have to understand who you are. Who you are as a man. If you want a woman like that, well, then try to search for a woman like that.
Absolutely.
But as far as like if you want an inferior woman or you want an ambitious woman, but then sometimes you have to take a step back in reality and see who you are, and what it takes to get the type of woman you want.
Yeah.
Because I think that's why I like the strong feminist movement, because it's making men go harder, and just like whenever other countries were conquering other countries, right? It was survival of the fittest. Who was the strongest? Like the Mongols, when they rose, the China Empire did not expect them to, because they'd seen them as the poor, right? But to survive in Mongolia, where the area was, where they were located, it took men being real men. I mean, they had to walk around with a sword, they had to travel with a pack, they had to have a horse and able to survive. If they didn't have that, then they're most likely going to die. Yeah. So think of the men that was built in that type of environment. And so they all came together, and started taking over these softer countries. And China was like in America, where everything was luxury, everybody's living comfortable, never really experienced a lot of real hardship. So the Mongolian Empire arose from that. So I feel like this whole feminist movement and these women acting out is making men become better. That's how I see it.
Yeah. So I agree with a lot of your points there, and I think you do need to figure out who you are. When choosing a mate. I think it all starts with the natural order of man and woman. So I think naturally the way God made us is for men to be leaders, to lead our family and to lead our wife. And I think naturally the woman was created to, be, a great assistant and to be the nurturer, of the family, of the kids, to hold, that more partner assistance role and to be submissive to the husband.
Now men are naturally supposed to be leaders, but does every man deserve to be a leader?
Maybe not. 'Cause that's as far as like who deserves what and who determines who deserves what. I think if you are
the market.
Well, I mean, if you decide to take on that role or you decide to fill those shoes, you better be able to walk in them.
Yeah.
If you're not ready to lead,
that's it.
If you're not ready to have a family, you better get ready.
Yeah.
So I think that is the natural order. I think that's where most flourishing in a family setting would occur, in that order. The man leading and the woman assisting and, nurturing the kids and the household and stuff like that. However, the more you deviate from that, things could definitely work depending on what you want or what your personality is. Because like you said earlier, if you want a woman who's going to go out, be ambitious, have a career and stuff like that, okay, if that's what you want, then that's what you want, and that's fine. But I think one of the issues is this isn't 1930s, 1940s, 1950s anymore. We have, developed as a society to where women can go off and do what they want to do. We have made it to where women don't need a man. Protection and provision can be gotten elsewhere. Protection, back in the, even like ancient times, and, if an enemy was trying to attack your family, the man would be there to protect. Now, in our culture, you have the element of the police. You can call the police. A woman can call the cops if she's being threatened. So our society has advanced in a way where women they can have the man in the household has been replaced. And you can get it elsewhere. Provision, protection, Even a woman can go have a kid without having to an actual man, having encountered an actual man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, go to a sperm bank or whatever. You got whatever you want.
I think as far as whatever kind of woman you want, right? The formula for a man is both the same. You know, a high achiever, ambitious, clear-headed, iron mind, right? I would say physically in good shape, but some girls don't care about that. But I think whenever a guy accepts that, they're like, oh, well, I got the dad bod, my girl likes that, whatever. I think that's a beta move.
Yeah.
For yourself. Why do you not want to be strong, elusive, able to protect your family, play with your family, whatever, and be athletic in some sort? Why do you want to be a slob?
Well, I mean, because that may be easier.
It's comfortability.
Yeah. Why do you have to? You don't have to have a shredded, chiseled body. You don't have to be fit.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can, because what's the benefit of it? Oh, you look good. Women are attracted to you.
Yeah.
That's it.
You think that's the only benefit?
It's not the only benefit, but if you don't care about your health to begin
Yeah.
with, if you don't care about living a long, healthy life, if you don't care about low medical bills, then why get in shape? You don't have to.
I say for your mentality.
True, but not all men got that mentality, and that's apparent.
That's cream rise to the top.
Especially if you can go get a woman if you're making 150K, 100K a year.
Oh yeah.
You can find a woman that, oh, I don't care how fat you are. If you're making that money, I can drive this car. Hey, you got a wife.
Yeah, but see that doesn't. I mean, honestly, if that's what motivates you is getting that woman right, getting that pretty girl, having that wife just by having money but being out of shape, that's little to no respect from me. But I don't know how much that matters to them. Obviously, probably nothing. But but as far as like a majority of the men looking at men, man, just being like there's individuals out there who like Patrick David is out of shape. Right,
He doesn't look out of shape.
He works out, but he's not like
Really.
he doesn't go to the gym consistently as much as people who are in shape, right? But he's very smart and he takes care of himself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a weird thing, man, because like physical fitness is my life.
Right.
I think everybody needs it.
You should strive to be healthy. Your body is a temple.
Yeah.
It's the one place you're always going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, in your body. No matter where you are, you're going to be in your body. Why not take care of it? Why not? And you should have respect for yourself to where you are presenting a good image. Setting a good example for your kids, for your friends, whoever.
Because it shows discipline. It shows your mentality.
It does.
Like when you see somebody in shape, it shows that they're disciplined. And I hate when I hear the message of being pushed that it doesn't matter. But it does matter.
Where do you see that? Do you see that?
I do see that.
I see that amongst women a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because honestly, man, women set the trends.
Body positivity.
Yeah, they set the trends.
All women are 10s. All women are 10s. Lizzo 10.
Yeah.
Rihanna 10.
I think being a 10 is really hard to do as far as a woman.
Yeah, but get a room full of women.
Oh,
Next pod, we're gonna have like 6 women in here.
Oh.
And we're gonna ask them to rate each other, scale of 1 to 10. All of them are gonna give each other a 10.
10s, 11s.
We're all 10s.
Maybe even 12s.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what are you?
Nah, man. So, what do you think? Since you guys talk about women on there too, how to choose the right woman?
As far as a man, how to choose the right woman?
Yeah.
Like you said it earlier, preference. What do you want?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want, like lately, I've been thinking about this. When I get off work at night shift and I'm headed home, I'm single right now, and I think about going home. I'm like, okay, I gotta make breakfast, man. I gotta eat real quick, take this pre-workout, head over to T-Prep workout, and I'm like, dang, man, if I could hit up my girl or something and say, hey, yo, can you make me breakfast? I'll be home in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Do you think you deserve that though?
Deserve that?
Yeah.
I think I deserve anything I want. I think I deserve it.
Do you deserve that woman making you breakfast?
Yeah.
You think you do your job as a man to deserve that?
Absolutely.
In every single aspect?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's such a... a subjective concept. Who's to say who deserves what? Shouldn't that should be on me to determine whether I deserve something or not?
I mean, I don't think I deserve it. That's why I stay single right now.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
So
like,
that's you. That's to you.
Yeah.
You feel like you don't deserve. I think if you feel like you don't deserve something, you probably don't deserve it.
No, I don't. I don't deserve to have my second location. I don't deserve to have a lot of things that I want. That's how I look at it. I'm like, so I don't.
Why? Because you don't think you're putting in the adequate work?
I don't think I put in the time. I don't think I put in the work. Everything. I think everything comes when it's needed and whenever God wants to bless you and He knows that you deserve it. So like sometimes when I get in these really ambitious movements, I don't eat until I make a sale, or I don't eat until I do at least a really good workout, because I don't deserve that meal. What am I doing waking up and having a full course meal? What did I do to deserve it?
Well, your body needs fuel to operate. Your organs need carbohydrates.
Well,
and how can your brain function to its maximum ability if you're not feeding it?
Because we have so much nutrients, so much abundance in this country that we can go hours without eating.
You can, but you don't have to do that.
You don't have to.
Especially if you want to maximize what you're doing here at the gym. Give your body what it needs, the fuel it needs to do your job to the best of your ability.
If you want to get bigger, that's what you have to do.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
You don't have to do anything.
No, like you don't have like.
Of course you don't have to do
like,
anything.
like I'm saying, like that's what I'm saying. Like you don't have, but I do it.
No, it's kind of like
Because-
that's kind of like saying,
You got to know who you are.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you can, I gotta put myself through pain for me to thrive. If
that motivates you.
Yeah. It's like, damn, I want that meal. Well, fuck, what have you done? I'm really hard on myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what's going into 2024. I look at myself in the mirror and call myself like a bitch, because because like I only got 4 hours of sleep. My workout was lame.
I'm gonna have to disagree. With
I didn't read my book today. Like I look at myself in the mirror and I like, yo, like, stop slacking.
That's the
basically.
difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference between you a bitch and stop slacking.
Sometimes you gotta set yourself straight.
Right? I mean, if that works for you, I guess.
if you're down bad, if there's something going on that's like making you in that position, you can't be too hard on yourself like that.
My philosophy is you have to, man, because then you're gonna get comfortable and you're gonna think that you're in an okay place. And I spent 3 years thinking I was doing enough, and I wasn't. I wasn't doing nearly as half as good as I should have been doing.
By what measure though? Are you basing that off of your results?
My results.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna speak business here. So the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
I told you the numbers, right? The gym. I'm not gonna go too deep into the numbers of the gym, but they could have been a lot better if I took care of business. Like I looked at the numbers, like it was still in the positive, like as far as like my production for the year, but I'm looking at the negative of the year.
I'm not going personal with it.
Yeah.
But the time around that time.
Yeah.
What was going
Because of my decisions in my life, because of my actions on my daily actions, because of my comfortability, because of me not holding myself to a higher standard.
Okay, so you in that moment though, you're looking at the results and you can identify things that you need to change in order to get the results you want, right?
Yeah.
So you're seeing what you need to do. So there, in my opinion, there's no reason to look at yourself in the mirror and say, do better. Like, you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
So you don't got to put yourself down. Just if you want that result, make the change that's necessary. Or if you're okay with what's going on right now, keep doing what you're doing. I don't think you need to talk shit to yourself.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
You know what you need to do.
Well, I like talking shit to myself.
Okay, that's different then.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I like it. You think I do?
That's what you like to do.
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning. Oh man, where's that mirror? You piece of shit.
Because we hold our family's legacies, man. I'm thinking of where we're gonna be at in the next 5 to 10 years, and you determine that.
Okay.
And I don't ever want to think soft anymore.
Yeah.
And I thought, because I've been on the other side of the spectrum where I'm like, It's good. You're doing something, man. Look at your wins. Don't look at your losses. Everything's going good. No, everything can be better.
You can look at your wins, not your losses, and still see that if I want this result, I need to tweak this right here.
Here's the thing: everybody works differently.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's why I brought this up.
I guess so. I'm coming at it from like a positive mindset, and you're like, oh man, I gotta talk shit to myself.
Yeah, put myself through pain, bro.
You know, but if that's yielding the results that you want and you like, and that's the method that works for you, have at it.
Yeah, bro. Because I know how lazy I am.
Okay.
I know how lazy I can be, and one person, the latest podcast I listened to was David Goggins.
Okay.
With Andrew. And David Goggins is just a freak of a person, man.
Okay.
Like his mentality. But I understood where he was coming from. That he knows how lazy he can be.
Wow.
So, and able to build that man that he is now, it's a daily thing. But if you're, like your perspective, if you're able to still be a high performer at what the actions you're taking now and the way you treat each problem and each win, then you're good. But if you know that you're a lazy person and you know that you will slack if nobody's looking, then you got to be hard on yourself, because not everybody, you're not going to have somebody there 24/7 like, hey, you're slacking. So you got to be that for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it.
Motivation is positive.
Yeah.
You got to find what motivates you, and that's different for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, that's different for everyone. So I think once you find what motivates you, what puts that fire under you, go for it, because you'll see. Here's an example. Like, you'll see a guy and a girl, they've been in a relationship for a long time. This dude's obsessed with her.
Yeah.
She cheats on him and leaves him.
Yeah.
Oftentimes you'll see this guy completely change his life. He ain't fat no more. He's shredded now.
Yeah.
Reading books now.
Yeah.
Spending more time with giving his mom like, just became a better person because that pain and never wanting that to happen to him again just changed him. You know. And you actually recommended a book to me. I think it was like your 5 next moves or something like that.
That's Patchwork David.
Yeah. Was that him?
Yeah.
So I actually, on my last flight to California, I actually listened to that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's real life.
Yeah, and they mentioned how there was a bunch of top people who their motivation stemmed from like something terrible that happened to them. Like somebody that like fucked them over. I don't know if you edited that out, but somebody who like screwed them over.
Yeah.
And the anger that they had fueled them to, like, they were just kind of tunnel vision focused on that end goal and being successful, and they did it. And you hear a lot of successful people that have stories like that.
Yeah.
You know, and as unfortunate as that may be, we're motivated by different things.
For sure, man. For sure.
It was a good book, by the way.
It was a good book, and I gave that to one of my old members here.
Mm-hmm.
His name's Jan Rodriguez. If you're watching this, I need my book back.
What
bro.
up,
He canceled his membership, and I never see my book.
Yeah, bring that book back, man.
Yeah. Got the same last name, bro. Come on now. But nah, man, this was a great podcast. I feel like we could have went longer.
For sure.
But no, I hope you guys are listening, that there's different perspectives on motivation. There's different perspectives on women and philosophies on everything. Take what you resonate with and what you think will help you in your life. But thank you guys for tuning in. This is part 2 with Matt Henderson on positivity. And y'all have a great day.